All right, we're going to get right into it here. It is Tuesday morning. It is May 20th, and we got a severe threat for a big chunk of the southeast and half the state, at least, of Alabama. So what's happening right now? Well, you look at the big picture here, and we actually have some showers that are drifting just north of the state. These will be kind of a moot point of no impact to us, but we are going to see the redevelopment of some rain, of some thunderstorms as we go throughout the day today, and they are going to be, in some cases, very strong this afternoon. So here is the day one outlook from the SPC, looking from the regional perspective, a fairly large area in that enhanced risk. And if we zoom into just the Alabama view here, the entire northern half of the state is in that higher risk area, or excuse me, that enhanced risk. It's the highest risk on the map. So basically, north of this line, which is about half the state. As you get further south, there might not even be any rain in this green or yellow area here because, well, the line is going to have a very sharp cutoff later on this evening. So what about timing? What does this mean for you in that sense? Well, we'll show you what the SPC and the National Weather Service have collectively put out here. If you live up north of the Tennessee River, even north of 278, it could be as early as 4 p.m. For much of central Alabama, the window opens at 5 and it goes until 1 if you live further south. For example, down here in Montgomery, Wetumpka, Opelika, we could be looking at a window up until 3. Again, I think the severe threat diminishes fairly quickly and does not necessarily extend down to that part of the state, but we'll be monitoring it closely. So that's kind of a rough idea of the timing. I want to look at some modeling now together. This is a look at some of the high resolution modeling, and this is the type of stuff that we get closer to event time. We're able to see these more definitive looks at what the radar could be showing us. So this is at 3 o'clock. So let's just drag this forward here. So to our window of about 5. So what you're seeing here, these are an attempt for this model to pick up these discrete cells, okay? These are conditional. I'm not sure if these are going to form. Should they form, these will be a pretty high tornado threat because they're individual, they're discrete, they are by themselves, and there's no other storm in the vicinity to disrupt the wind circulation around it. Doesn't mean they'd be guaranteed for tornadoes, but that's what I'd be looking for early in this event. So that's at 5 o'clock. Let's push this ahead now to about 7, okay? What else are we seeing? Again, showing the depiction of some of these discrete cells on the map. Again, these are not plotted exactly where they're going to be. This just gives us a rough idea. So what this is telling me is out ahead of this main line, which will be back here, all right, this will likely be the primary sweeping line that comes through. We're going to have the potential for these isolated, discrete supercell type thunderstorms, and these are going to be the ones we've got to watch for large hail and for tornadoes. Winds also, but that would be the highest, I think, threat for those. So I'll clear this board off, and now we'll move it forward to, say, 8 o'clock, 8:30. And now these are basically exiting the state. Now there's a potential that these, these cells that develop out ahead of the line don't have the dynamics support that, cells back to the west do. And they may not be rotating, but that's what I'll be looking for early on. And then here's the actual line that'll be moving through very quickly once it does start to move through this evening. So anything taking place outside after this point in time, going to be a lot of lightning. Granted, this is pretty late, so I don't know who's having a party outside, but SEC tournaments going on. So any storms that come through, severe or not, will have a lot of lightning associated with them. So we're going to watch carefully for that. So again, we're watching this unfold throughout the afternoon, but that gives me a rough idea of what we are looking at in terms of our radar later today. We can look at ingredients here. This is the Energy Helicity Index, and what this looks at is, okay, do we have an area of updraft or area of potentially vertically rising air, and do we have wind shear to go with it? That's exactly what this product right here does. I'll throw a legend up there so you can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at. Likely versus extremely likely, you can see the difference on the scale. And there's not an overwhelming part of this forecast that shows, okay, there is absolutely going to be a tornado here. But there's enough evidence that there's going to be rising motion, that there's going to be wind shear to pose that threat of tornadoes here throughout the evening and part of the overnight. So again, hail, gusty winds. Let me get my impacts graphic here. I've got it somewhere. And, essentially all modes, we say all modes of severe weather possible, and this is what it means. It means that we'll have the potential for tornadoes. Some of them could be strong. I'm not saying that they will be. The ingredients, we have a lot of energy in play. It's going to be 90 degrees this afternoon in several spots. Atmosphere's juicy. Hail, strong enough updraft, towering thunderheads, hail cores. Gusty winds, out ahead of a squall line, you have very, very strong downdrafts. In association with the updrafts, you get straight line winds. All of this will be possible this evening. Not everywhere will get it. Many of us might be untouched. But for those in the warnings, be sure to take them seriously. They usually don't last very long. And, we can get through all of them together. So, again, we stress this, the importance of kind of following this model here this evening. A reminder, the weather radios, unless you're in Walker or Winston County, tuned to the Coleman channel, that's 165, I believe 475, or 450, I think it's channel 3, we won't be transmitting warnings tonight. They are upgrading the software with the weather radios, which is an unfortunate time overlay, but have multiple ways to get alerts. It can be on your smartphone, it can be on the computer, it could be your neighbor down the street. I don't care. Just have ways to get notified, and we'll of course hop on air as we need to later on this evening. So that'll do it for your morning update. Of course, we'll push out more updates as needed. Stay safe. Again, be wary, be mindful. We don't say any of this to scare anybody, because a lot of us got here because we were scared of weather. So we just want to pass on useful information to you. So again, have a great afternoon. Stay ready, and we'll send you updates as we go along. Take care.